Hello.
I can see we already have, Shell is here and Laura is
Yes.
here.
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday. And Teresa is here and Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. And
Hello.
Marilyn is here. Marilyn, have you gone into the Patreon page recently? You need to go look there for something. So, little shout out there to Marilyn. Um, Welcome everyone to the Emma M. Lyon Volume 3 live stream. Here we are. I have my lovely friend Rebecca here. Rebecca and I are the co-hosts of the Cozy Reader Book Club, and she has been reading along with our Emma M. Lyon books, and so she is here to chat with me and all of you and all of us about Emma M. Lyon. So
Yeah, I love this series so much. I've heard you and I think Elizabeth talk about it,
mhm.
and it's not finished. And so there's a part of me that's like that I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to get into that yet."
Right.
Hello.
Hi,
Um
Jacqueline.
but I'm totally smitten. I think of like friends in real life and I'm like, "Oh, they would love this series. Like, can I get it for them?" I mean, it's really great. And also, I don't know if you've ever followed Darling Desi. Um
No.
but so she's I think she started out doing booktube and now she's like
Mhm.
so popular she just does like
Right.
lifestyle type things. But
Sure.
she just did her spring video and talked about oh, thank
Oh,
you
did
so
she?
much. I'm so happy to see that. She talked about how much she loved this series. So I think
Oh,
it's
yes.
gaining popularity and people
It
are
is.
hearing about it more. So
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely, which I'm so thrilled about. I mean, when I first saw I know Elizabeth, you had posted about it on Instagram, and I think Melissa had posted about it on Instagram, and I was like, "What is this series?" I'm so intrigued, and I don't really know, and then last year I finally got the first volume, and then I just, like, flew through them because
yeah.
they're just, like they're so good, but they're like popcorn. Like you just can't stop consuming
Yes.
them. They're so
It's true.
fantastic.
Yeah, popcorn's a good way to put it. They're just
Oh, Jacqueline was
it's
saying Desi has the hardcover editions.
yes,
Yeah, the hardcover editions are really
she
beautiful. Yeah,
does.
I
She
love
does.
that
And
cover too.
I
Yeah.
actually have been reading them on my Kindle
Mhm.
because they're on Kindle Unlimited, which I was like, "Oh, I'll just see what I think." And then now I'm like, this is like I need to
Uh-huh.
have it. And I looked at the hardcovers, but if you're planning on getting the whole series,
Mhm.
I don't know. I also like the way the
I
paperbacks
I do like the
are,
paperbacks too.
which is a
They're
lot because
they're
I love
lovely,
hardcovers, but
right?
I do
This is
like
my
how they look like journals. Like,
They
you know
do.
what I
They
mean?
really do.
So it's just I
Absolutely.
don't
And
know.
I like this size. This is like my favorite size of book to read. And I like because controversial opinion here, I like to crack my spines. So
Oh
I
no.
know. I know. It kills my husband is like, you can't read my books.
Yeah, right. I think I might be on his side. You get your
Right.
own
Yes.
book. You can do what you want.
I know. Lots of people are. I am careful with other people's books. So if I borrow a book, I will not just crack your spine like, oh, like just,
Right,
but I
right.
love to do that with my books because I
Yeah.
like to see that they've been read. That just makes me happy. That's just my personal take on
Yeah.
cracked spines, but I know that's controversial. So,
Yeah.
um, but going back, Marianne, thank you for mentioning my channel and Darling Desi.
Yes.
So, I mean, who am I? Nobody.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
it's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I haven't had a chance. I should go and do it too. The more of us that say something about your read along, then more they'll
Right.
know.
Exactly.
So,
That's great. Yes, the more the merrier.
yeah.
Yes, I think it was Melissa who I saw them. She was reading them first, and then yes, soon as you start, you just can't stop.
Somebody
Um,
met her. Elizabeth, was it you that met Beth
I think
Brown?
yeah, Elizabeth, wasn't it you that you went to a talk? Was it a book signing or was it a talk she gave? Um,
Yeah, if I remember,
yeah,
it looked like a tent, like a special event. It looked
it
amazing.
did. Though a lot of her, I've seen clips of her speaking at different things, and they always look like big events. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
great. That's fine. You finished under the wire. It's,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
It is hard not to spoil. So I've held
Right.
myself back. I stopped after 3 because I thought I
Mhm.
don't want to be on here and like accidentally disclose something that
Right.
happens later. So this is
Yes.
first read for me, so I will not accidentally spoil anything past this
Mhm.
book.
Yeah. Oh, Shell says I can borrow her books. Thanks, Shell.
That's
Spine
nice.
crackers unite.
Yeah, right. That should be a thing. You guys need
Jacqueline
a
says she's cracking these journals
t-shirt.
open too because she's highlighting. Yeah,
Oh
definitely. And
yeah,
especially when I'm annotating, like I definitely want to like
have
get
it
it
be
flat
flat.
so I can, you know,
Yeah.
be neat about it. I hate when my underlining or my highlighting gets all wonky. That makes me cranky.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Elizabeth said she did. She met her in August. Oh, it was a Q&A and a book signing. There were about 50 people and it was outside.
Oh,
So
it seems so great.
I know I'm like, come to
Did you get
California.
all of them signed, Elizabeth? Did you just take your stack
I
of
know, right?
I'm
Here,
sure
sign
there was
all
like
my
a
books.
limit, right? Exactly.
Right?
Like this is your fault, but here's all these books I need you to sign.
Right. Well, I just
Yeah.
met Kim Fay a couple weeks ago, and I felt bad bringing my 2 books for her to sign, but she was so,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a small, so, you know, small signing. I mean, there were maybe 30 people there, so pretty good, you know, turnout. But she was so great. She was like, of course. I think she would have signed. I think if you'd had 10 of her books, she would have signed them all. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
Jenny likes the style of the paperbacks too. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And again, I'm usually a hardcover person, but
mhm.
there's something about the matte feel. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just really like
Yeah, I like the coating on the cover is really
yeah.
nice, like, to
Yeah.
hold. It just feels good. Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
The publisher, and I'm not sure because I feel like I've heard that they were self-published originally, but I don't think they are anymore. They're published by Risden Press. So, I don't think that's her self-publishing anymore. I think she has a publisher. But somebody said something about that, but I could be mistaken. So if anyone has insight into that, put that in the chat. Oh, Jacqueline says
Yeah.
she read it late so she can remember what
Yeah.
that's what I did. I finished yesterday, my reread. Actually, at my son's soccer practice, I was freezing. It was so cold, but I finished reading. I had like 20 pages left to go, and I was like, I'm gonna read this during soccer practice. But yeah, I wanted to like reread it close to our discussion because I've read all of them. I don't want to like get mixed up and like tell you guys spoilers for things that are coming because I know stuff that's happening that hasn't happened yet in volume 3. So,
Right. And I did before this today, I did a flip through to make sure that I
mhm,
remembered
right.
what I remembered.
Yeah, Laura said the same thing. She read it late in the month to
They
remember her.
are longer now.
Yeah,
It's
they do
true.
get longer as we go because, well, let's see. This one was, let's see, the paperback is 213 pages. So I have volume 4 here, and it is, oh, it's a little shorter. It's 191 pages. So, but they average right around the kind of low 200s. And then volume 8 is like, it's a
Super
chunker.
thick.
So come August, everybody start a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But it's a page turner. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're books you can read, even if you're not a super fast reader. I think they read pretty quickly, regardless.
Yeah, I
I don't
know
know.
for like all my TBRs now, I'm like,
Mhm.
we're doing this readathon, Jen's hosting it, and I talk about each book. And I've
Uh-huh.
said in the first 3, I've been like, you could catch up with her read along,
Yep.
easy to catch up. And I feel like as April and May are approaching with TBRs, it's like I
Yeah.
might have to stop. You can catch up because
Right.
you really are starting to be behind at this
Exactly.
point.
Unless you just like binge read them. So, and
Yeah.
certainly I know I do have some people who are reading. Like I just had somebody leave me a message today saying she was going to read, or she's started reading them, but she's behind. But she wanted to make sure she could still watch the lives on my channel, even if she's watching them. Of course,
Oh
the
yeah,
replays
right.
will always be there on my channel.
Right.
You can always go back
Right.
and watch them if you can't be here live for any of our live streams
Right.
about the books. So, oh wait,
So even if
I
number
wanted to go back
3
because Elizabeth had some.
oh yeah.
Let's see. Oh, she just got one book signed, she said at the book
Oh.
signing. Volume 5, which is her
Oh.
favorite.
Okay, good to know. So May is
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
have to
your favorite.
remember what happens in volume 5.
Good to
I'm gonna have to go
know.
look at that. Oh wait,
Yeah,
I already
that's
did
good
that.
to know.
And Beth, Elizabeth told Beth she's been reading more Shakespeare
Uh,
because of her, so she wrote the Bard in my book. Nice.
yeah,
Love that.
that
Love
makes
that.
that so special.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to meet her and have her
I
sign
know.
even
I
just
was
one of
thinking
my
that
books
too.
would be fantastic.
I
Yeah.
wonder, is it just because she lives
Oh,
near where Elizabeth does? Is she over there on the
no,
West
she just
Coast?
she said she just happened to choose Oregon as her next state visit. And I guess the press is Beth's own press. So I guess they are self-published. So,
Oh,
um, but yeah.
great. I mean, it does, like, the back of it with it having that barcode and talking about Middleton, Delaware,
Mm,
um, it that very much to me looks like a self-published
gotcha.
situation.
Right.
But good
So
for
yeah,
her. Like,
yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
so awesome that she's,
Mhm.
getting that, like, grassroots people
Right.
hearing about it and talking about it just as,
Mhm.
like, a small independent
Yeah, and
publisher.
I think, I mean, definitely, I
Mhm.
think, a couple years ago, you they were much harder to get anywhere outside of Amazon. But now I know you can get them on other booksellers' websites. So, so it's definitely her reach is getting out there more.
Right, right.
But it did feel like when I was first looking for the books, like I couldn't find them anywhere but Amazon. But
Yeah,
that definitely isn't the case anymore. Yeah, and Jacqueline commented on the colors of all of the volumes of the paperbacks. Yes, and then the
yeah,
hardcovers too. There, I think they're all color coordinated, but they're just, yeah, they look so pretty on the shelf. Just,
yeah.
I love them. I love them. So like,
I
I
would
now I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
have to
collect.
stick with the paperbacks because I have that like
Right,
all
you're
of the,
committed at this
yes,
point.
I am committed.
Right, right,
I mean, unless someone wants to gift me the hardbacks too, that's fine. But I'm
right.
I'm good with the paperbacks.
Yeah. I think Jacqueline said that, she's expecting snow.
Yes,
Yikes.
I
So where
know.
I live, if we have, like, a light snow, they call it an onion snow because
An
onions have been
onion.
planted in the ground and the shoots are coming up. But it's
Mhm,
still too early for an onion snow. That's you're still
mm,
getting winter snows, I would imagine.
yeah. Not here in California, we don't get, I mean, up in the mountains, there's snow, but not down where I live, we don't get snow, so though
Right.
we had it was, like, 82 on Tuesday, and then, it's, like, in the low 60s now, so and it's gonna rain on and off all weekend, until early next week, so that's what our springs are like. It's like one day you can wear shorts, next day you need a parka, so you just never
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
Elizabeth, I'm so glad that you're enjoying these books, that you're enjoying the humor. They are so funny.
They are
So
funny.
funny.
They are funny.
Um,
I mean, I was when she was in the pub in this one,
mhm.
remember that was where the clue was and, like,
Yep.
she was, like, having to, like, man up and
Yep.
then get help out. Oh, I was
Right.
giggling. That was just so funny to me. No, I don't have this is so I got this one for this when Jen, had said, "Hey, do you want to join on this?" I thought, well,
Mhm.
I should have I'm very much a physical book person. I was like, well, if I'm
Right.
doing this, I need a reason to get a
Right?
book. My reason was this. So I went ahead and got
Justification.
this one out of order. I've been reading them on the Kindle. And I will say, just even flipping through this today to prepare, I I will say I think having the physical book is preferable.
Mhm.
Um, just because all of the things at the front, like with the character list
Yep.
and all of that, it's just nice to flip back and be like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, just to kind of be
Right.
able to do that. It's harder to do on the Kindle, at least for
Yep.
me.
Yep.
But what I'm gonna have to do is I've underlined in my Kindle, so I'm thinking what
Mhm.
I'm gonna do is, like, cross-reference it and then have the Kindle open and highlight my
Right.
actual books and do
Yep.
that, so but this
Yeah.
is the only one that I have so
So
far,
far.
but my birthday's coming, and so I've
Hey.
already sort of alerted my husband that I might
Right.
be getting this
There you
set,
go.
or
There you
he will be
go.
getting this set
Yes.
for me,
Love
so
it. I love it. Um, Shell said she'd never heard of the series, and now she's subscribed to Kindle Unlimited just to read them. That's
great.
great. And
Listen,
Marianne has them through her library. Yeah, my library doesn't have
oh,
them.
that's lucky.
That
Yeah,
is
my library.
amazing.
I should probably send them a message and see if that's
Mhm.
something that they could do. Because again, with it getting more popular,
Right.
see if that because that would be nice. Just to share again with my friends. I'm thinking about all these people in my real life who would
Mhm.
love this series,
Right.
and this way I could just point them to the library. So it's a good idea. Also, Shell, the Kindle Unlimited thing is a slippery slope. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's the other thing. Beth Brower's other books are also on Kindle Unlimited.
Mm.
So you could read, which I want to do at some point. Read, I mean, she's got fantasy works and all kinds of
Yeah.
different.
Well, we were talking, I think it was in the last live. I think that's where we were talking about it, that
Hmm.
maybe if volume 9 doesn't come out by September of this year, maybe we could all read the Q together because that's her
Great.
standalone. And
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I think you had read it. But I think a few other people have read it and said it's really good. So that might be a
Yeah. I think
possibility.
that's on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
Also, I know her, the Gambit. Is that what it is? No,
Right. Queen
The Q is also on, yeah, the Queen's Gambit. The Q is
Queen's
also
Gambit.
on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
So
could, anybody who wants to join that, you could get it on that too.
right. Absolutely.
So,
Okay, well let's dive into the meat of volume 3 and what is happening here. I mean, I really think, and anyone else in the chat chime in as well, but I feel like the action in volume 3 really kind of ramps up here. We get introduced to a lot of new people, and we get more depth on the people that we've already met, and it just feels like, ooh, the story's really going now. So I
yes,
know,
I
Rebecca,
agree.
it's your first time, so yeah, you agree with that? Mhm.
Yes, I do. And
Yeah.
I kind of, the books, I feel like she could have even had this be it's very, in my mind, two kind of different things. We have the scavenger hunt in
Right,
the first part, and that's, I mean, I loved that I thought it was such a creative way
right.
to have her move around the town, so we're getting to move with her and,
Mhm.
like, get to know other people and, be able to visualize St. Crispin's better, and you know
Right.
what I mean? Just kind of,
Yep.
I loved that so much. And
Mhm.
then the second half of the story, then we're done with the scavenger hunt, and we
Mhm.
go into more depth, I think, with Pierce, right?
Right.
That
Yes.
seems to
And
be
we get to kind of get
Islington.
introduced more depth to the Duke of Islington. We also get
Mhm.
to meet the Reprobates 10, which is really fun. I
Yes,
love that whole
yes,
end of this book. That is
yes,
so much fun. Um, but
yes, yeah,
yeah, there's so much goodness in this one.
and
So
yeah, and to be honest, I really liked, um, that her uncle, by getting laid up and injured,
oh, you mean her cousin?
was, yeah,
Archibald?
that's what it's
Yeah.
Archibald, sorry,
Yeah.
cousin, was that it was like he kind of then wasn't in the picture as much,
Mhm.
which I liked. You know what I mean? Like, he was seen
Right.
as, like, really grumpy
Mhm.
um, and so, and we knew, like, to kinda leave him alone, but he was, like, laid up in bed a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He's just
Well,
not my favorite.
I liked who
So
was it who came to see him and he threw like
yeah.
toast with raspberry jam at them and she's like, I'll pay for your cleaning if you can't get that out of your
Yeah,
shirt. Like,
yeah.
so sorry.
He's
Feel so
so
bad.
terrible.
He's
I
the worst.
really don't like him. And
Yes.
I just think I don't know.
Yeah.
She seems to manage him, but he's really terrible. Yeah, I agree. The scavenger hunt was short.
Hmm.
I loved the whole idea of, the secret and,
Yes.
having to, like, you know, decode the
Hmm.
puzzle. I
Right.
thought it was so creative.
It was, and it was fun. And then I like how you learn that like there are different clues for men and women, and how oops, sort of got one of
Yeah,
the men's clues by mistake. They assumed like Archibald would go to the pub and
yeah,
deal with that piece of it, and but he's been banned for life
yes,
from the pub.
yes, banned.
Unsurprising, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
Unsurprising.
what yeah.
Yeah,
He should just be
yeah,
banned in general. Go live
right.
with his sister.
Yes, yes. Jacqueline says she really enjoyed the banter between Emma and Pierce and the Duke at the end.
Yeah,
And I agree that that dynamic really starts to get established here and that their relationship is really fun. So, yeah, I love that.
yeah,
Um, and then Jacqueline also said she loved that Pierce purchased a book and then gave the raffle ticket to Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just their whole, it's such an interesting dynamic because Pierce is, I mean, you know, he's a bit of an enigma. You know, you don't fully know his background. You know, where he's got, I mean, this whole, where does he get this limp from? You know, what has happened to
The
him?
doctor knows him. Weirdly.
He's been to America. He spent quite a bit of time there.
Right.
He's traveled quite, you know, extensively, it sounds like. And, you know, there's a darkness to him. He's not just straightforward. And I like that about him. And it adds a really interesting dynamic to the situation. So. Oh, Elizabeth's commenting on when Archibald tickets and Julius Caesar.
Yeah. He ate his ticket. I know. He's so just I can't think of the word.
But he's like one of those characters you love to hate, right? Like he's
I do not like him. I mean, I don't like him.
Without spoiling anything, just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
That either means there's redemption or I end up not liking him.
I'm not saying there's redemption. I'm not saying there's redemption, but I think he gets more interesting as the books go on. Anyone else who's read to the end, chime in if you think I'm wrong or right there. But I think he gets, there's a change to the dynamic a little bit. So just that's all I'm gonna say. So if you really dislike him, like you don't even love to hate him, then maybe give it a few books, a few more books.
Yeah. So. All right. I do. I mean, he spent her money anyway. He's not my favorite.
Laura says not enough Jack in this one. She likes the bad boys. Yes. Jack, you know, he's like, he's very much the bad boy, right? Like, and he flits in and out, and you'll see him, you know, he's in some volumes more than others. But we don't get as much of him like we did in the last volume where they were going to get the Jane
on a heist. Right.
Exactly. On a heist.
Right.
Let's see. Let me get back here in these comments. You guys are talking so fast. Trying to keep up. Let's see. Oh, Jacqueline asked, will we see cousin Mathilde come to St. Crispian? That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
Because she sounds like she's even worse. Like
she's
there's
even
a character
worse,
I can't with her.
Yeah.
Even though she's completely off the page, right? You don't really get other than
we just know what Emma says about her.
Right. And what Archibald says about her. So
right.
You know, which I don't know. Sometimes I even get the feeling that he doesn't even like her that much, but like, and that's part of his, like, you know, his punishment to Emma, just because is like, I'm gonna send you off to Mathilde.
Right.
You can be with her. She's the worst. So, oh, and Roland too. Yes. Roland's another great character.
Yes.
I do like Roland, and poor Roland and his broken arm and this. You know, it was funny because in that scene where they go to the park and he gets bumped into by all these boys who are roughhousing in the park, I was really feeling bad for him because I'm like, they didn't have plaster casts in 1883. Like, so he's got a broken bone that is just, I mean, maybe it's wrapped in something, but probably nothing super protective.
Right.
And I broke my wrist just a couple of years ago. And I'm telling you, without a plaster cast on it, I had to wait a couple of days to get my cast. And so that was no good. That was just even being wrapped in like a big, thick bandage, that was not enough. So I was like, I would have passed out, I think.
Right. Yeah. It seemed like it was excruciating for him.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. Oh, here. So Marianne called Archibald selfish. He's for sure selfish. But I like Jacqueline's description. She can picture a real tall, gangly, balding, long, pointy nose. Like, I kind of picture him like, sort of like, did anyone see the Jim Carrey when he was in the Christmas Carol? Like the way they had him done up as Scrooge?
Yes.
Like, Like, that's kind of what I picture Archibald like that kind of a character.
So he
Or
also
like
did that, I think, for Lemony
Lemony
Snicket's.
Snicket. Yeah, I was gonna
He
say the
looked
same
like
thing.
that too, where he
Yep.
had the pointy and the
Yes.
balding and the
Yep.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that kind of look.
similar.
That's exactly how I see.
Yeah.
Oh, Elizabeth agrees with me about Archibald. So just you wait.
Okay.
Just you wait.
Got it.
So, oh, Jacqueline says she loved the part where
Oh,
Aunt
yeah.
Eugenia is taken aback when Emma was dancing with the Duke. And it's funny because I don't even know if she realizes that it's the Duke of Islington who she's dancing with at that moment. I think that comes up later on. It's just that she was dancing with somebody who was so like, you know, put together and so good
Right.
looking. And it was like, what are you doing? You're supposed to dance with all the duds, you know, you're
Right.
supposed to dance with the,
Her
what's the guy? Always forget his name, the one that she's like
hates it. Well, it's her
sort of engaged,
unintended.
the aunt wants her to get engaged
Yeah,
to.
she
She's like
calls him her unintended.
her unintended. That's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. Yes.
I
Her
can't remember.
unintended.
Yeah,
So,
I thought that was so funny. Cause and the
yeah.
Duke even said, "You're intended, and she's like, "No, no, I said my unintended." She, like,
Right.
even told him and, like, made sure he knew.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
What in heaven do you think you were doing?
yeah,
Dancing.
right,
Dancing.
right,
I was
dancing,
dancing like you told me to.
right,
I
right,
really love, we've talked about this before in the other lives, but I really like Emma's relationship with Aunt Eugenia because it could be very like almost sort of like wicked stepmother with the, like Cinderella character, but it's not. It's much more nuanced than that. And
yes,
I mean, for all Aunt Eugenia is out for Arabella's sake and to get her married to like the best, richest man she can find for her, I also don't think like if push came to shove, I still think she'd be in Emma's corner if it was like somebody versus her family. Like Emma's still her family no matter what, even if she's sort of like the poor relation. So that's really interesting. And I think Aunt Eugenia can take a little bit of Emma's, kind of sassiness. Like she's got the personality to like take that on and she's not obtuse to that. So uh,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I had said that in the last live was that I actually really liked their relationship and their
Hmm.
banter back and forth and
Yes.
how she can kind of, Emma can respond kind of like snarky and her
Hmm.
aunt gets it, but, continues on. I
Right.
do think that's something that we see Emma's relationship with Mary, and
Hmm.
the communication and kind of the banter, but
Hmm.
I do like the Arabella and Emma relationship. I feel like we're being held a little bit at arm's length. Like they don't,
Hmm.
it's not like they don't like each other but they're not. I mean, and Arabella can tease Emma and obviously knows that Emma has a broken heart and
Hmm.
I don't know, there's just a part of their interaction that I don't know, again, it feels a little bit at arm's length for me
Well,
right
I mean,
now.
and I would agree with that, but I think maybe the reasoning is like Emma and Mary have a shared experience. Like
It's
they have
true. They're
gone
like
through this
equals.
difficult, right? And Emma and Arabella are not quite equal, right?
Right. Right.
Arabella's upbringing has been much softer and gentler than Emma's has been, and she's has both her parents and she has a lot of money and she's pampered in that way. And not that she's not, so, and I think it's just like anything, especially where you have a cousin who maybe you haven't seen a lot of recently. So
Right.
there is a little bit of distance there, I think, just because of what's happened to both of them in the years since they've really spent a lot of time together.
Right.
So yeah, but I do
And
think Arabella is somebody that Emma can count on. That
right, I think she
you
can
know
trust her, which is good
exactly.
because Arabella could be, sort of spoiled and
Yeah.
snobby.
Yeah, and Arabella herself, yeah, I agree. Like this whole, she's like, I'm just gonna marry whoever's richest, and then I'm just gonna go about doing my thing.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I just don't care. Like she really
Yeah.
doesn't. She doesn't care about being in love. She doesn't care about any of it. She's like, nope. I just
Yeah,
want to.
she's just not a very vibrant character, I guess. So many
Hmm.
of the characters are so I mean, just
Right.
kind of over the top, and
Yes.
Arabella's not. She's kind of just there,
Mhm.
which may be intentional. And then
Oh.
they grew up with Roland too, right? Like the 3 of them?
Mhm. Yep.
Mm,
That's an
that's an
interesting
interesting.
question, Elizabeth. Is
Yeah,
Arabella a Charlotte Lucas?
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, right? A little bit. Like she knows she has to get married, and so she's going to marry someone so that she can continue on with the life that she wants to lead, and she doesn't want to give that up, you know, for love. And
right,
and I think she
right,
probably realizes, I mean, that's probably pretty pragmatic of her for that time period. Like, you
right,
know, I there probably weren't a lot of rich men that really were worthy of having her love, like, and what are the chances that you're going to find that right person for you? So why
right,
not just decide, you know what?
mm,
As long as I have money, I can do
right.
what I
This is
want,
the lifestyle I want,
right?
and it's not
Like
rocking the boat with her parents, so that'll be,
exactly.
stay
He
the
can do
same.
his thing, I can do
Right,
my thing. We
right,
don't have to spend all that much time together.
right,
I think Emma's like, does that is that really how it works?
right,
But
right, right.
oh, Laura has a take. Let's hear everyone's thoughts on this. I really like this
Yeah,
person. Something about the fact that Emma has all these wonderful men in her life is just a bit annoying to me. I mean,
yeah.
it is that's pretty nice, right? She's got a pretty good situation here. I mean, she has um the Duke of
Hawks,
Islington, she has Hawks, she has Pierce, she has Jack, she has Roland.
Roland.
She
Yeah.
has, I mean, even the who are the twins? I forgot they're blanking on
Oh, yeah.
um their
Are they in
names
here? They are.
are, yes, they are.
Phineas and Oliver.
Yes, just Phineas and Oliver. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't really met him yet, but she has her older cousin Damien, who's Arabella's brother. He's the one who's like, ugh. Aunt Eugenia's like, no, he's not doing good stuff right now. I can't with him. He's,
Currently hiding on the continent. That's
yes,
what it says
currently.
in the
Um, so yeah, so she definitely has a lot of men in her life, way
She
more men
does.
than women who are up to the same age as she is. I mean, there's clearly quite a few women in her life, but definitely the men are front and center. So it'll be interesting how that all plays out.
Yes.
Oh, Jacqueline says the anticipation of the next volume
Yeah.
increases each book. I'm anxious to see if the Duke swipes Emma's journal.
Yeah. She keeps a feather on it. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, again, the creativity there of like having this lost and found in the
Yep.
town, things just go missing. She
Right.
ends up with his journal, can't help it but read it, but she knows the rule, put a feather on your journal and that doesn't happen. Like
Right.
it's just
Yep.
so creative, just a
Yeah.
creative way to kind of tangle everything up.
Right? Because it's like it's funny because when you're trying to describe these books, it's like, well, it's London in 1883, but it's not really London in
Right.
1883. It's like it's a version of London
Right.
where sometimes some sort of almost magical things kind of happen, but it's very much centered in our world as we understand it,
Right.
except
Right.
for these slightly unusual things that happen
The
in the
Roman,
the Roman.
yeah.
Yep, the things that go miss. I mean, just all the kind of quirky. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got a quirkiness to it. I
Yeah.
think that's probably the best way to describe it because I mean, there's that bit of like almost magical realism, but I wouldn't really categorize it in
Yeah.
that sort of magical realism category. Like, it doesn't have that same vibe to it. But there's just something offbeat about them that I mean, and clearly many of us who are reading them really
Right.
get
Love it.
into, like,
Yeah.
just love that sort
It's
of.
like whimsy, I think. It just
Yes.
adds a little bit of whimsy to
Mhm.
life. There's so much around like how to romanticize your life. Well,
Mhm.
having to put a feather on your journal so that it doesn't go missing adds a
Right.
little bit of whimsy and romanticism to your life.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Elizabeth said it's
Yeah.
they're all the men are so eager to look out for her, which is true. But then I like what
Yeah.
Jacqueline said, that it's a great cast of characters, but she doesn't feel like they're all falling for her right now. And I think that's a good kind of, differentiation to make, that not, I mean, clearly Hawks isn't interested in her. I don't think the
Yeah.
Duke is interested in her right now. We can make a very good case for Neil.
Yes.
Or Nile. Is it Neil or is it Nile? Because I'm like, in my mind I read Nile.
In my mind, I read Niall.
Yeah, right? Nile.
I
That's what I
think.
said. That Niall to me
Right.
says Nile. Like
Niall.
all, not Neil, like Neil Diamond. Just
Yeah.
spelled completely differently. Jack certainly I don't think is interested in her in that way.
Yeah, no.
They all have
I
very
think Jack's just
bantery.
out for himself, to be
Yeah, oh, for
honest.
sure. For
And we should
sure.
talk about that too. Because there's something that he's gone back to Emma and said, you need to talk to Mary about her employer and like what's
Yes.
going on, Niall, and what's going on with him. And Mary's like, got a weird look on her face. She's like, well, it's just, he's a widow with children.
Mhm. Right.
Everybody's reading Niall too.
Yeah. Although Laura
So
says she thinks it's Neil. She thinks it's
oh,
Neil. But that read it however you want, like however
yeah,
it comes into your mind. I mean, we'll have to ask Beth Brower. Is it Neil or is it Niall? If anyone
right,
sees her live, please ask that. Let us
right,
know what it's
right.
supposed to be. Oh,
It's like people when
Elizabeth
they
likes Jack's
yeah,
nicknames for
names for
her.
her. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And the reprobates, right? Now they're calling
Yeah.
her E of A and Eleanor of Aquitaine. Uh,
Yes.
I love that whole
Which is
scene where they're
really
trying to
great.
guess her name, and then the Duke is it the Duke or is it Niall who's like, I think it's the Duke. He's just
Is the
like,
Duke.
Miss Lyon, and then he just says
Yes.
Emma. They're like,
Right.
oh, you just
Right.
ruined our fun.
Yeah.
And she says something because I think they say when Pierce and the Duke kind of steal her away from them at the end, and she says, oh, here it is. Because they were like, unless you want to keep hanging out with them, but we thought you'd come sit with us to listen to the music. And she says, they are delightful in small doses, like a litter of puppies, one would suspect. I was like, exactly. Because like even a litter of puppies, it's going to get a little tiring after a while. That's a lot of their personalities. So
I love that she got put like intentionally with them. It was like, you need to go over to that. That's the table that I want you at. When she
right.
went to the dinner party or the party.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyway, so yes. Yeah. Sorry. I had to just boot somebody out of the comments. So if you guys saw that, they're gone now.
Oh no. I
Yeah.
actually can't see comments on my end unless you
Yeah.
share it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think
maybe I could, maybe I'm,
that's a,
oh no, I can. I'm not in the right
you
place.
can.
So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
That's terrible.
Even
that
the
you
10,
have
I
to-
think they look at Emma more as one of them. Yeah, I agree with that,
Yeah.
Jacqueline. Absolutely. I think the reprobates think of her,
Yeah.
like one of the guys kind of a
Yeah.
thing. And she does kind of slip into that role, I think, with a lot of the men in her life, that she's sort of one of the boys kind of a thing. I think her, she just has an easygoingness about her that they're drawn to. I think especially because women at that time weren't really supposed to be like that. They were supposed to keep themselves a little more at bay from men. So she doesn't really do that.
And I think Beth Brower set that up with that whole pub scene. And Emma going through it, right? She had to get through the drink, you know what I mean? And like she really like proved her mettle that she could do it. And then of course Hawks helped her home.
Yes.
So, and it is, I mean, it's difficult to, as somebody, I mean, I'm not a big, like, just romance reader, but I do like romance in my stories. And so there's definitely a part of me as I'm reading this where I'm like, well, would he be a good match for her? Would he be a good match for her? What about him? And I because I've been on the lives and some of you who have read more have made comments, I cannot tell which way it goes. I do think Beth kind of leads us down a way where it's like right now we're like, oh, Niall is Niall Neal is really great. I remember
Right?
liking him, the Duke maybe, and Hawks is, but I like Hawks. I can't help it. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I keep hoping for so many hopes for more Jack because they like bad boys.
Right?
I like Hawk because I think Hawk is also kind of a bad boy, right? He's like
Right.
waiting until the parishioners fall asleep and then he's in the pulpit reading like poetry and like he always looks tired because he's out at the night. He's in the pub with her. I don't know.
Well, it's
Anyway.
funny because I feel very drawn to Hawks as well. And in my mind, he's like this sort of, and I'm going to date myself here. So if there are younger people in the chat, I'm sorry, but he's like a Christian Slater, Ethan Hawke
Yes.
in Before Sunset kind of
Yes.
character. Like
Yes.
he reads a lot. He's very
Yes.
smart, but he's a little bit like there's something about him that you don't really know him.
Yes.
Like he
That's a
keeps
good
himself
analogy.
right.
Yes. That's exactly it.
Yes.
They're like bad boys, but they had like really actually had
But
good
like good
hearts.
hearts. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're not true bad boys, but they put on
Yeah.
that sort of persona to keep themselves in the distance.
Brooding, like,
Yes,
kind
very
of,
brooding, very
yeah.
brooding.
Yeah.
Um, I like Marianne. This is a really good thought. I hadn't even thought
Yeah.
of that. That since her father, she doesn't have a father figure, right? That some of them feel very brotherly to her, and I think that's very true. Like she is quite alone in the world. And actually, I really liked this quote, which is at the end of the entry from July 15th. Is that what this is? Yes. And Emma says, I hadn't realized until that moment how much I've missed that feeling of someone inside your four walls watching out for you. The feeling that home isn't just a place, but also people I've forgotten it could be. And I think she's talking about Niall there. Um, that he's had said he'd stand up for her. But and I think sometimes you don't realize what's missing until it's sort of pointed out to you. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on there. And I think a lot of that, Marianne, that's really to a good point that she doesn't have her parents. She doesn't have anybody to really care about her, put her first kind of a thing. She's kind of having to do life on her own. That's really challenging. And I like how Beth Brower is very good at sort of managing, because the books aren't completely light and frothy. I mean, there's like some definitely deeper elements, darker elements. I mean, Emma has lost clearly the man she thought she was going to marry, has died, and she's dealing with all of that. She's lost her parents, so there's been a lot of loss in her life. And I really like how Beth Brower kind of balances that all out with the humor in the book. I think she does a really good job of walking what could be a difficult line as a novelist, to not either be making too much light of those scenarios or making them too maudlin in a series that is fairly lighthearted in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, Niall's like war background and like injury, his photography, like you said, he's got like a dark background, there's like maybe some PTSD there. So
Right.
there are some heavier aspects to it, but you're right, it
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
meant to be lighter.
Yes. So I just, there's a lot going on there. Because then it was so funny because somebody somewhere, and now I can't find where, if it was on my Instagram, I thought it was in the Discord channel at first, but then I couldn't find it. Somebody made a comment about, I marked it. Now I have to find it again. Sorry, this is going to go from serious to very, very light. And now, I cannot find it. Anyway, when Emma is at the ball, and she's talking about it, and she makes a comment about one of the other women there that, well, it's at the end. That's where it is. It's at the end when I think it is. Oh gosh, sorry. I'm sounding very scattered right now.
No, it's all right.
But she makes this comment about this girl wearing orange. And I'm like, well, but she's wearing orange, and like that's the worst possible thing that she could be doing.
Right.
And I just like that there's just this sort of, like Emma's feeling, like this girl is sort of you know, putting Emma in the corner kind of, and then she's like, well, but she's wearing orange. So it's
Right.
just there's no hope for her if
Right.
she's wearing orange. So but yeah.
I
I just
don't
like the
remember that.
position. What?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I thought I had marked it because
I've tried to
I
find a
know
couple things. It's hard to find things when you're on a live.
I know it is. It really is. I know, because I'm like, I don't want there to be dead air while I'm trying to like
I know.
find. I'm like, keep talking,
Right.
keep talking, right?
Talk amongst yourselves. So
Exactly.
Laura did say Hawks was her favorite too.
Yes.
Because remember I said about
Mm-hmm.
Jack's too. He's too. I admire Laura and her appreciation for Jack. He's hard to handle for me. He kind of
Mm-hmm.
intimidates me a little bit because he doesn't seem to he just goes all out, which
Mm-hmm.
I think can, I don't know, make things kind of sketchy for Emma. She doesn't need
Yes.
that kind of drama when she
Right.
has her aunt like breathing down her neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But I like how Beth Brower has
oh,
set it up that she's
it might be. Sorry.
Oh no, it is. I just found the quote about the orange.
Okay.
So she's talking about Miss Hunt, who is the woman who's
Yes.
after Roland.
Gloria got it. Gloria said it was at Miss Hunt.
Yes.
And we don't like Miss Hunt, right?
Right.
When we talked about Roland, I was going to bring her up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because Emma says she wore orange and she deserved it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like
that. Yes. Yes.
That's
okay.
such a good, like, oh, that's so biting. She wore orange and she deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Jenny, exactly. She says she's wearing orange as she deserves. Yes. But somebody else had pointed that out. So then when I came across it, when I was reading it this time, I just was like, oh my gosh, there's that line.
There's the line.
And I can't, if it was one of you who's here, I apologize. I know somebody said it to me that they just thought that was such a great line. And I couldn't recollect where I had seen it. So, but I did want to mention that because that is a great. Emma's like who I wish I was in terms of her, like, just, and I know some of it is stuff she's saying just in her journal after the fact, but she does say some stuff. Like, she's very witty and on the ball, and I am not that person. I'm the person who, like, 5 hours later is like, oh, I should have said.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Right?
I'm the same way. I cannot in the moment come up with these witty things.
No, I am not witty like that at all. I have to, like, if I have a script, I can follow that. That's great. Right. But in the moment, I just too much in my head, So
yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about Miss Hunt. I mean, when I first met Roland, I kind of thought he was like self-absorbed, which he is.
Mm-hmm.
We hear about their childhood together and how like they sort of tormented each other, and then they really do seem to have a brother-sister relationship because she's supposed to be helping him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's so self-absorbed that he deserves Miss Hunt. She just seems to be just a whole new level of not good.
No, she's not. Like, when she comes over, when Emma is sitting, she specifically sat herself in this like settee that's really small. It really isn't meant for two people. But then Miss Hunt comes over and she has to like give her room,
right?
Otherwise she's going to appear really rude, and she can't quite go that far yet,
right?
And then Miss Hunt's telling her the whole thing about, oh, you didn't know that Roland broke his arm? Like, I thought you guys talked all the time. Like, I can just hear her, like she's just that. Like, you didn't know? Oh my gosh, how did you not know? Like,
right.
Just she's just the worst. But yeah. Hopefully Roland will see the
light.
The forest through the trees.
Light, Roland.
Yeah, because you're right. I think Roland deserves something better than Miss Hunt. But yeah, I'm curious, like, setting aside where we think Beth Brower is taking us, if anyone here had their choice of who they wanted Emma to end up with at this moment in time, which of the men in her life right now, who would you pick?
Well, I don't know. I probably like the Duke over Niall,
Mhm.
to be honest. People are probably gonna disagree with me,
Mhm.
but I like
Nope.
the letter. Oh, there. Elizabeth said Islington.
Thanks for
Yeah, okay, so yeah. Okay, so there. Shell
Shell says it
says
Mhm.
Niall.
The Duke.
The
Oh,
Duke.
lots of votes for the Duke.
Because
All
he
right.
does have that quiet brooding, a little bit of like clever comments to her kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. The Duke,
Mhm.
the Duke.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
No votes. No votes for Jack. No votes for Hawks. No votes. Oh,
yeah,
Ginny.
good one. That's a great one. I'm gonna have to mute so I can cough. That's great.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ginny. That's gonna have me laughing all night. Thank you. That
Yeah,
yes, they do
yeah.
deserve each
I think
other.
that's about right. That's about right. They can go
Marianne
live
says the
out with
Duke.
Mathilde. She can
Yeah,
help care for them.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
all
nobody says Jack. I mean, Jack does feel like, when we're talking about different kind of levels of
hmm
society, he just doesn't fit, I don't
Hmm.
think, in Emma's. Yeah.
This is an interesting. Yeah, he would be more tolerant and amused without the Duke's family censure. That is true because Emma and the Duke are not of the same social
But we
status.
know about the Duke's sister,
Yes.
and we
Oh,
know that, right?
which I have to keep talking, Rebecca, because I want
Well,
to
I was
put
gonna
something in the chat.
say, so it's obvious that like there might be certain perceptions and rules that his family is like falling under, but we
Mm-hmm.
see that his sister is kind of getting out of that, and he doesn't seem, it's not like he's super structured and in the box. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he would be for himself because he is a duke and so he holds himself to a different standard, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, that to me gave me hope that like there maybe is some out of the box
Mm-hmm.
opportunities there.
So I just put a link in the chat, which is to Beth Brower's Substack, and she has this. Most of it you have to be a paid member of her Substack to read, but I believe this first. It's called the St. Crispian's. No, this is that the St. No, these are the. Yeah, it is the St. Crispian's Gazette. And so it's like these little sort of offshoots, just pieces of information about different characters in the stories. And this first one is a letter from the Duke's older sister to the Duke about the younger sister. So it's really kind of interesting. So if you want to read that, I believe that one's open to anybody, whether you paid for it or not. So
It
you can
says
read
you
that
have to
because
be a
I just read it today and I thought it's really appropriate for volume 3. Um,
it says you have to be a subscriber.
oh, does it? Maybe I
Yeah,
should
it
change
gives
that.
you the first part of it,
Oh,
but then
okay.
it says this is for paid subscribers.
Okay.
She
So
might
I
have
think,
she might have
yeah.
changed it. She might have put it,
Yeah, I
it
think she
used to
must have.
be,
Yeah. I think it
behind and
used to
then now
be
it's
or
in
was
front.
originally set up anyway, but it's just an interesting letter where they're sort of like the younger sister has just run off and the older sister is sort of trying to keep the Duke calm and telling him this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to handle the situation. Like we're going to say she's off traveling on the continent. And then, we can gradually say she's met this American and then they're, going to go back to America because his mother is not well. And so they're going to have the wedding there and blah, blah, blah. And so it's sort
Right.
of the setup for all of that, but you kind of get a little like behind the scenes. So it's just kind of
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Are
Um,
you guys paid, Elizabeth, are you paid Patreon for her or Substack?
yeah, I am. And I think Elizabeth is too. Yeah.
It's
The St.
it's only
Crispian's
five
Gazette is
dollars.
really fun. So if you're
Yeah.
really into the books,
This might be.
um, it's, and I mean, you could even just, you could do it now, or you could even just wait. Even if you didn't want to do it, continue to have her Substack. You could at least read through some of the
Yeah, it
extra.
says it's $5 a month
Yep.
basically if you go month
Mhm.
to month.
Yep. I think you can get a little bit of a discount if you sign up for the year.
Yeah, it's
So it's up to you.
$4.17 a month. I have it up.
Oh, I like this. This
So,
is interesting.
yeah, I like that too.
Nile is a little out of her league as far as world experience is concerned. Hawks has potential. Beth could surprise us.
Yeah. Yeah,
She
I've said
could.
Hawks is I just like how he's So he knows the things that Archibald is saying about her. So like
Mhm.
he talks about knowing her, faults and weaknesses or whatever. He
Mhm.
was there to help her safely at the pub. I just think he's very much like a protector kind of a person.
Yes.
Shell is suspicious. I can see Shell saying this. She's
Shell,
suspicious about the Duke.
tell us your suspicions. Put those in the chats. What are you suspicious about exactly? What do you think he's doing?
Yeah, Elizabeth says she does the
Yeah,
Substack.
I do too. Just because, I mean, mainly because I'm running this, and so I wanted to, if there was,
Oh yeah.
inside information, I wanted to be able
Right.
to share that, or just kind of have a little bit of extra um, from
Right.
Beth's mouth, because she's the one writing in her
Right.
Substack. So yeah.
Marianne says not only is the Duke's younger sister married to an American, but it's somebody from Maryland.
From Maryland.
So it's so funny that you say that because so I live in Pennsylvania, which obviously we share, like the state line in Maryland is directly south of us, and we're very close to the Maryland state line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a joke in this area about people are like, oh, they're from Maryland. It's, it's like a thing. Of course, I lived in Maryland when I met my husband. So like, for us, it's like just makes us giggle because for whatever reason, this line is like, they're from
Mm-hmm.
Maryland. So
Right. Laura says she thought the Duke thought the older sister was a bit ridiculous and was willing to go along just for family peace. Yeah, I mean, I think the Duke probably would have just let the younger sister, well, if she's happy. I mean, I don't
right.
think he really wants to shout it from the rooftops, but yeah, I agree. I think he understands that they do sort of have to think about the family name, and it would be a scandal that she'd run off with this American without, she didn't have anybody with her. She
Yeah, no
literally just
chaperone.
went to America with this man. And so,
Right.
yeah. And that's so funny how he and Niall realize when he announces that that's his sister, and Niall's like, oh,
Yes.
like, okay. What did
Right.
they just walk into?
Right. Yeah.
Marianne
Marianne says
says
Maryland
she's
is my
from
home state.
Maryland.
So
Nice.
Marianne, Virginia is my home state. And then I moved to Maryland and lived there for a long time, met my husband. Then we moved to Pennsylvania. I joke that by the end of my life, I'll be living in Maine because it's like I just keep slowly moving
Right.
north in those New England states.
Yep. So Shell doesn't think that the Duke is the good guy he appears to be.
Well, she did read his journal.
She
Look,
did.
Jen has read ahead and she's got a cat ate a canary smile. So now I'm suspicious, Shell.
Poker face.
Poker face.
Poker face. I'm just trying to keep you guys on your toes and not spoil
Yeah,
anything
right.
for you.
Who knows? Who knows?
You never know. You have to keep reading to find out.
Right. We need no encouragement. Jacqueline says she lives in Maine. She said, come on up.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you live on the coast or in moose territory? Oh, Shell. Oh no.
Shell has the T on the Duke
Yeah,
of
right.
Islington.
Oh. That's oh my goodness. Yeah. The Duke may be a player. Oh my gracious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right now the cat. Yes, let's talk about Tybalt. He's such a good character.
Yeah, he's the whole reason I got to get rid of Archibald in this rest of the book, right? He's the reason why
Yep.
Good move.
I mean, we have to not like Archibald just because he doesn't like cats. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
That's just a deal breaker. Like, no, can't like you. You don't like cats. So
cat goes between there. It's like the a child of two separated parents or whatever. Because Niall and Emma share the cat basically.
Exactly.
It's like their
I know.
baby.
Yes. Yeah, he's such a great character, and I love the Shakespeare reference with his name. It's just perfect. So
yeah, we also
give the cat catnip and throw him in
yeah,
Archibald's
right.
room.
Right. Good one. Yeah. Yeah, that would.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Agnes being
I was
how
gonna say,
she's so
yes.
like she's like starstruck every time
And
the
she's
Duke.
afraid of Niall. Like
I know, so
terrified of
funny.
him.
Which is kind of, I mean, I guess I could, we do know that Niall has a bit of a dark side to him. It's got some darkness going on there.
Right.
But the way she is with the Duke, and then the picture of him
Yeah,
is now hanging
the painting.
in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah,
I
her
can
friend
just
who's
see
like
this
Sophronia.
ornate, like, portrait of the Duke, like hanging, in this tiny little corner of the kitchen, just like in a
so
space where
weird.
it's really too big for it to be, and just Agnes there just daydreaming about the Duke.
Yeah.
The tea cart. Yes, that was great. Like, only the best for
Right.
our guests.
Right.
Creaking its way into the room, as Jacqueline said. Yes, I am very fond of Agnes as well. I think.
Yeah, she said, I hope good things happen
Yes,
for
hope
her.
good things for Agnes. Of course. I think we all do. Oh, where did you? Oops. Marianne.
Yeah.
Megan says yes to the tea.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Where did you get that dragon?
Right. Right.
Oh, Elizabeth here with a bit of a spoiler. No, not really a spoiler, but the painting of the Duke is why Volume 5 is my favorite. That's all I'll say. That's so right. Now you've reminded me.
Great.
Stay tuned for more about the painting of the Duke.
Maybe Agnes is the Duke's kept woman, Shelley. You want good things for Agnes. Maybe this is it. Maybe Agnes is the kept woman.
That could be like a whole offshoot series of this series.
Fan fiction.
Agnes and the Duke.
And it's like a twisted fan fiction where it like takes something not sorted and turns it into something sorted.
Marianne says I would feel like his eyes were fun. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like one of those, like,
right, those paintings with it, right. Right.
Oh,
I don't
now
think
all I
we've
can think of is Agnes and the Duke fanfic.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to draft something up.
You really should.
See, ask Beth if I can be a ghost writer or something on her Substack.
Exactly. What? Yeah. With Agnes's kitchen notes or something, Agnes's recipes, the recipe corner.
Right.
Could be all about her affair with the Duke of Islington. Oh, of course, this is woman. She's an abysmal failure.
Yes, it's true.
Right, because she's having to work as a maid, and she's absolutely an abysmal failure for sure.
I do love that Emma raised the pay rates for her to try to get more equal pay. We haven't talked about the fact that Emma's telling her aunt she has a chaperone that does not exist. Who does not exist.
Yes.
Which I find really amusing. It's like she's got to remember this fake persona. Like, oh yeah, that's right. She's out for the day.
Yes.
So amuse me.
Hold on to that thought.
True. Those
Hold on to that thought.
Good one. Selected journals.
Selected journals, yes.
So it is. My daughter makes crochet.
Oh my goodness.
And she made me a mushroom. And
Can
I
your
love
daughter
it so much.
Teach me how to crochet. I still want to learn.
She does. She sells patterns, and in her patterns, she includes videos.
She does.
Yeah, my daughter's like, you always want a daughter or a child who's
you can give me
smarter, and more beautiful and more talented than you. Somehow, I've ended up with that. Yeah. So yeah, it is. I couldn't make that at all. Like I'm terrible at anything, but she crochets like crazy. Great. Marianne said we should call those the selected journals.
Yes.
The selected journals of Agnes, the kept woman.
/ housemaid.
Right. She's really trying to keep on the down low with this.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yes, gosh, we've been talking
Oh,
forever,
yeah.
forever. So let's do a reading sprint, you guys, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of like rapidy wrap because
We've just been chattering
we
away.
have. I know. See, this is what happens when Rebecca and I get together. We're like, doop, doop, doop. This is why we need a time limit for the Cozy Reader Book Club
Yeah,
because
it's
otherwise
true.
we just keep going.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so let's go until 30 after. Let me get our ticker going here. Nope, that's wrong. Hang on. I will edit that. So we're going to read until 30 after, and I will get our shared screen. Hang on. Going to do a cozy English countryside today and hope that there's no ads in this one like last time. You guys back here at 30. Okay. We are back. Hope everybody got a little bit of reading in.
I started volume 4.
Diving in already.
Yes, and it just makes me laugh. She just is such a great writer. You just
Yes.
giggle.
Yep. Love it. So
Yes.
good.
Yes. Agree.
Let's see. What were we chatting about before we took
I
our
don't
little
know.
break? I've lost my
Maybe
train.
the comments will help. We sort of stopped abruptly because we realized we had just been chattering
I know.
along and the
I
time
know.
was
Oh, I got to turn off the
passing.
banner. Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, there.
So many things to like keep track of in these lives. One of these days I'll get it all sorted. Probably just in time for, us to be done.
Right. Right.
Yes. Well, I was reading Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, so I feel like I'm in a whole other world. So now I got to like regroup and come back to Emma's world.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say I have started our Anna and her daughters
Mm-hmm.
for the Cozy Reader Book Club for April. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to, it's not a super thick book, but I just want to
No.
make sure I'm not rushing it.
Right.
And have you read it before? Is it a
No,
reread for you?
it's not a reread.
So I actually think that, you know how you can do those book comparisons where you're like, if you like this, I think you would
Mm-hmm.
like that. I honestly think if you like Emma M. Lyon, you will like Anna and her daughters
Oh,
because
really?
it's from the perspective of Jane,
Uh-huh.
who I think is the youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not written in a journal form, but it feels like the time period. I don't know. It just feels very comparable. So far,
Interesting.
I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good. Have you
So
read any other D.E. Stevensons, or is this
I have. So I read The House on the Cliff. And
okay?
Elizabeth had to go
Right.
to eat, and
Yeah.
she gave it a 5 stars, and I sent her a message and was like, "I did not like it. I did not like it." And so I've gone into this Anna and her daughters with a bit of trepidation because I'm like, "Oh my
Sure.
goodness, what if I don't like?" I know everybody
D.E.
says to
Stevenson.
read
Yeah.
Miss Bunkle because that I think that's one that, you
Sure.
know,
Although
but
it's
I
funny
haven't yet
because
done that. And
yeah, some
so,
people don't like Miss Bunkle though, because
yeah.
but I think you might actually, because she's very quirky and
Yeah. I too tend to so I
yeah,
need to give that a try, but The
yes.
House on the Cliff, to me, it just felt like it was like cookie cutter. Like I could
Mm,
see everything that was happening,
sure.
da, 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 da,
Right.
da, da, marching along. It was nothing terrible, but I just wasn't but I'm really enjoying Anna and her
Well, good.
daughters. So,
Yes.
I think the style is very,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I also can see, anyway, I think it's great. So,
Good.
um, so I've been enjoying that
Excellent. Well, that's
also.
good. Now I'm even more excited about reading it because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaning into all things D.E. Stevens. I'm actually, Jacqueline, are you still here? Jacqueline and I are going to read Amberwell together, which is another D.E. Stevenson that we both had. So we're going to buddy read that and then read it's a duology. So the sequel, Summer Hills, we're going to read that one in May. So I'm leaning into all the D.E.
Yeah.
Stevenson.
Have you read House on the Cliff?
No, I haven't read that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You'll probably
yeah.
see what I mean.
Well,
Because again,
it's funny because I had read Miss Bunkle's book and Miss Bunkle married, and then Kate Howe and I, Buddy, read what is it? Something Elizabeth Fairley, something like that. And it was just okay. It wasn't, I didn't love it the way I love Miss Bunkle. Something about the pacing of it felt a little like slow and then
yeah.
even. So, and both Kate and I felt the same way. So, I think there's always, she wrote so many
Yeah, she
books,
was very prolific. It's true.
very prolific. So I think there's always going to be books that, just don't hit the mark. Sometimes it's just something you've churned out and it isn't your best. So,
Right. Although I will say Elizabeth loved it. So I mean, I don't, it's sometimes you're just not in the right mood for that.
Mhm.
What would you
I
say?
said, "Do it." So
Yeah.
Jacqueline's considering,
Yeah.
"Join
Yeah,
us,
you should.
Jacqueline."
I actually am, again, I'm really enjoying it.
Mhm.
I mean, the premise is oh yeah, they're on Kindle Unlimited. So
Yes,
I
so many are on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
great.
And Dear
Yeah,
Hugo
I'm
too,
enjoying
yeah.
it.
Dear
They
Hugo's by
moved
Molly
to
Clavering. Mhm.
they moved to Scotland to
Mhm.
Trimble Cottage, and
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think, and maybe this is not, maybe it's not always this way, but for the 2 that I've read, and,
Mhm.
it seems like some of her characters are very black and white. Like, they're,
Mhm.
like, bad, and they're just bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not a big redemption arc for them. They're just, because in the
Yes.
House on the Cliff, there's just a character who's just, you can't find anything good.
Mm.
And you see too in Anna and her daughters, even as you begin, there's just like
Right.
one of the characters where even the mother is like doesn't know what to do with her child.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I've heard
Um,
that about that one, that
yeah, Laura,
it's
Victoria Cottage is one of my very, like, Miss Bungle's book and Miss Bungle Married, Victoria Cottage, Belle Lamington, and Fletcher's End. Like, those are right now my top of her books that I've read and loved. So
yeah, I'll have to look
yeah,
for this. So
try
I'll
to.
look on
It's funny
sorry, I'm
because
gonna
Victoria Cottage is the start of a series, and there's like 3 or 4 books in that series. Or 3 books. There's Music in the Hills, and then Winter and Rough Weather is the 3rd book. But Victoria Cottage kind of stands on its own because the main character in that, Carolyn Daring, we don't really see her in the other 2, but we see her son carries through the other 2 books. But
right.
I loved Carolyn. She's one of my favorite characters. I just want to be friends with her. I want to live next door to her. I want to go over to her house and have tea all the time. I just want to hang out. So she's
Yeah,
great.
I'll have to write that down.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Belle Lamington and Fletcher's End is not in they're not in print, so
Um,
you can get them on audio and you can get them on Kindle, but trying to find vintage copies of them, they go for like $100 for a chintzy little mass market paperback. They're like
so we
ridiculous.
need to start sending messages to Dean Street
I
Press.
know. Well, I think the issue is that some other publishers hold the rights,
Oh,
the publication rights.
yeah,
And so Dean
yeah,
Street Press has trouble getting a hold of some of them, some of the titles. Um,
got it.
because I was actually somebody just on my video today, I think, because I talked about Jacqueline and I reading Amberwell together, and she said there is another publishing house that holds the rights to it. She'd actually reached out to them a few years ago. They said they were going to be reprinting it, but that was like 3 years ago and they still haven't. So
Mm,
I don't know. I'm like, just let Dean Street Press do it then.
yeah, right, right.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Braun.
Welcome.
Welcome. Oh, yay. I'm so glad. I hope you love Miss Bunkle. She is one of my favorite characters. She's so fun. She's so quirky.
And that's when
And
we
yeah,
plug for you. We're gonna read her Anna and her daughters for Cozy Reader Book Club
yep.
for this month,
For
April.
this month. Yes, we
So
are.
you can find, Jen has all the info on her
I do.
videos.
I
So
do. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
that's a great idea. Jacqueline has the best idea.
yes. Let's go to the UK. Yes.
Yeah, vintage bookshops. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We need
We'd
to have
have
like a
to
cozy
go.
reader book club goes to England and we'll all
Yeah,
go and
we
we'll search.
wear what we're wearing and go with an empty suitcase. We just
Exactly.
fill it up with
Right?
books.
Pack your
Yes.
toothbrush and that's it. Let's go.
Right. Right.
Because we're going to need all the room we can get.
Right. That's exactly right.
They're going to be like, your bag weighs 300
Yeah.
pounds, ma'am.
Right. We would have to, I thought that. I was like, actually, that's not going to work because you have to pay now for how much, but we could ship them home.
Right?
Ship,
Although I don't know, that might be just as expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll find Miranda. Yeah, we go find
Yes.
Miranda.
Miranda Mills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see Miranda, absolutely, and her mom.
Yeah.
Yep.
It reminds
Absolutely.
me,
Let's go.
there
Tea
was a,
every other. Yeah, we're gonna have tea every day.
and go to, do you follow Manderley Press?
Manderley Press.
She just had a picture of her. She's reading a book about Bath in Bath.
Right.
I was like,
That's right, because she's publishing Mary Shelley and Bath, that book.
yeah,
Yes,
that's what it
I
was.
need to order
Yeah.
that one because yes.
Yeah. I just thought
Laura says Miranda has cost me a fortune. You and me
yes,
both, Laura.
it's
You and me
true.
both. Yeah, so true. Every time I watch her videos, I'm like, sometimes I have to not watch her videos because I'm like, I'm spending too much money on books.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to stop.
Yeah,
stop.
she
Just,
yeah.
I love the way she talks about books. She just like, she makes everything sound good. Even stuff where
Yeah.
I'm like, I probably wouldn't even like that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so good.
Yeah. She does. It's true.
Yeah. She has a great way of describing books, and so but
It's
yeah.
true.
Oh, Little Vintages. I don't know Little Vintages channel. She has lots of videos on Dean Street Press. Oh, wow.
That's good too.
Okay, I'll have to go check her out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jacqueline. That's great. Now we've become the Dean Street Press /
Yeah.
Stevenson live show.
Right. It's we've
not
pivoted.
mad about that, but for those of you who are here for Emma M. Lyon, if you're not a D. Stevenson reader.
Yeah. I think we got there because I said I do see similarities in the in the style.
Oh, I did want to read a quote, which I just thought, everybody here being readers and book lovers, I actually had underlined this quote when I read the book the first time. And so when I got to this page, I was like, it was like the only thing I'd underlined in my first read of the book. But it says, don't think I mind a routine. That's just what I'm craving, but the right routine, my routine. 2 walks a day, several hours of reading, perhaps 1 visit with someone I enjoy, 1 dinner or entertainment per week if you must, possibly 2, but please let there be reading. I was like, yes. Emma is my person. This is why. So,
right.
Like, maybe 1 or 2 events a week. Maybe. We'll see. But there better be reading.
Right.
And I still love her library at the back of the book. And it's so fun to see it getting incrementally longer, in every volume.
So when she got the Meaning of Flowers book, I was like, oh, I have one like that. It's going to be backwards. But I have one that's the Language of Flowers, and it has these lovely, like older, I don't know if you can see the picture, like vintage pictures. And then it talks about like daffodil, and it has like poetry and then what each flower means. So like when you give someone a bouquet, but anyway, so yeah, when she got it, it reminded me of my book, because people used to be very specific about like what went in the bouquet based on what the flowers meant.
Yes, the Meaning of Flowers is
so it's lovely. It's like a coffee table book.
Do I know when volume 9 comes out? No, I do not. I know Beth is writing it. She has said that because, she's going to write 4 years of Emma's life, and every volume is 2 months of a year. So calculate that. I forget how many books it comes out to, 20 something books. So she's got a lot to write. But she is trying to get them out so there's not too much time, so that we're not all, 90 years old by the time she finishes. So, I mean, hopefully it'll be out this year sometime. But there's been no date announced. But as soon as I know, I'll let all of you guys know. I will definitely share that in the Discord, in all the places. So
yeah, that's what Jen told us. She's pays for a Substack membership, so she's on the ground level, because Goodreads doesn't even show that there's a volume 9. Like, how sometimes they'll show the next one and like you can go into book details. So it's not even showing. Yeah, Jacqueline said, oh no, money. It's true. I mean, I was reticent to start the series because I was like, but we're we have no idea. It's like anybody who loves fantasy writing. Patrick Rothfuss wrote The Name of the Wind, I think.
Name of the Wind, right?
So great. And he's never finished the series. And it's just because it's just like hanging over him. So you're just always leery of starting a new series. And I was like, well, again, I'll try it. What do I have to lose? And now I'm like totally in love, and I'm going to be really upset if we don't get this finished series.
I mean, it does sound like she's got, she knows where she's going, and because sometimes I hate that when a series, clearly the author didn't know it was going to be such a big hit, and they didn't have the whole arc of the
Yes.
story plotted out, and you can tell
Yes.
as it goes along
Yes.
that they're
Yes.
kind of lost in where they're going to take this.
For
But I feel
sure.
like she knows where she's going, and she knows what she's going to do. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Bron,
That
I
is
am
encouraging.
super jealous that you're going to Wigtown in Scotland because, yeah, it is like full
Well,
of
I'm
books. It's
also
just like,
jealous that she lives in Australia. Ron, your
wow,
life is just wonderful
I
from
know.
us
Can
Americans.
can you pack us
We're
in your
jealous.
suitcase? Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Where in Australia do you live?
Yeah, let us know. That's so fascinating. I love how the online book community brings us together from all across the
Yes.
world. It's so
Right.
fantastic. It's just
Right.
amazing.
So
Uh,
Laura did say now that Emma has income, she has a lovely life, except for Archibald. I agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah,
Yeah, things are
yeah. Though she
right
doesn't
now.
really have quite enough money, and she's got to be careful. Like, she's always, anytime anybody else wants to pay, she's like, okay, yeah, sounds
Right, right. Her
good.
wardrobe gets paid by Eugenia.
Yep, absolutely. I know that was nice. I was like, wow, nice.
Yeah,
Entirely
yeah,
new
that's
wardrobe. Free,
yeah, right.
right?
Well, except she has to go and act like the adults of
Exactly.
the room.
Exactly. I know. There is that, right? If only
Yeah.
somebody would give her a free library full of books,
Yes.
then Emma's
Right.
life would be complete, I think. She would
Right.
just sit and read all day long every day. And I love how her library is like 2 copies of Shakespeare, 2 copies of Jane Eyre. It's
Right.
like,
Right. Yeah.
it would be
She's
funny if Beth has Roland just keep giving her books that she already has. Like if that just becomes
yes.
a gag throughout the whole series, like every time she tells him he needs to give her a new book, like for whatever reason, and he gives her one she already has.
Right. Right.
I
Poor
would love that.
Molly.
That would tickle my funny bone because that's the kind of stuff that I think is funny.
Yes.
So, but yeah. Oh, whoops.
Jacqueline thinks Pierce is going to be giving her more
Yeah.
books.
It's interesting. I like that he's because Beth has sort of now because Pierce knows Emerson, right? So suddenly we've got like
You've got American.
a real
Right.
person, kind of not making an appearance, but there's a connection to like a real world person in the book. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bron says she lives in the Bayside suburb of Melbourne. Oh,
Melbourne.
nice. Lovely. I've never been to Australia. Maybe someday.
Me neither. I
I
mean,
would love
it's like about as far away from me as anything in the world could be.
Yeah.
If I were going to go there, my husband actually went there.
Yeah, my husband actually has been to Australia too. How funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband went for work before I met him, but yeah. So
Yeah, my husband too. He was a Marine and he went to Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The farthest I've been is Hawaii, which is pretty far
Mm-hmm.
for the East Coast. It's not for you.
It's not for me.
It took us just as long to get to California as it does to get from California to Hawaii.
Yep.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's like the same distance for us from here in California to go to Hawaii as it is for us to go to New York.
yeah.
So I can go either one.
Yeah.
For like 4.5 hours.
And that's when you choose Hawaii every time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going this summer because
I mean, if I had to choose like New York or Hawaii, like
right?
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband's had a really hard time at work that he's had a huge project at work the past few months. It's been really stressful. So he needs to lie on a beach somewhere this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I have been to England and to Paris. So, but that was a long, long time ago. But and I would love to go back. So
yeah, I was lucky. I actually backpacked through Europe and then I moved to Europe.
Oh, where did you live in Europe?
I lived south of, in Barcelona, basically. So
nice.
I took Spanish in high school and I was like, oh, I'm going to move to Spain. We had a French foreign exchange student who was living in Spain. She and I were friends. So I moved to her apartment in Spain and I was like, oh, I know Spanish. Well, because I didn't know, They don't,
Right.
that's not the Spanish that they don't speak Castellano Spanish in the
Right.
Barcelona area. They speak Catalan, which is a
Uh-huh.
different language. So that
Right.
was that, I mean, it was so great. I went to language classes. I was a foreigner with a whole bunch of other foreigners. I think every
Wow.
American should go and be a foreigner somewhere because I do think it
I
gives you a
know. I wish I
really
had done
great
that. Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
So,
How long were you there?
about half a year. I was there
Nice.
about half a year.
Nice.
So
I
I
wish
didn't
I had done
work,
the
so I had to.
where you can go and teach English in a foreign country. Like I wish I had
Yes.
done that. I think that would have been a really great experience for me, but
Yeah.
it was harder to learn about things back before in the
It
dark
was.
ages, before the interwebs and all of
It
that
was.
stuff.
I
So,
mean, when I lived there, I had to go down from my apartment into the little town to a coffee shop where they had internet. It was like literally, you remember the internet cafes where you'd like go and sit
yep,
on a public computer and like,
yep,
and then I'd email my family like, I'm alive still, da 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 da,
right,
everything's fine. Then I'd go back to the apartment and like, I mean, it
right.
was my kids, when I tell them this, they're like, what?
I know.
So,
When
well,
I'm
good
like,
luck, Jacqueline. Drive safely, especially
yeah,
since you said there's a storm coming. Hopefully, the storm is after you're home from the airport.
yes,
Good
for
heavens.
sure. Yikes. And then Braun says it's a almost 30-hour flight to the UK. Whoa.
Yo, my gosh. That's what I said.
Uh,
Australia, like, it
yeah.
would be, I would love to go, but I would have to be going for a long time because it's like as far from me as, I mean, I think is like almost around the entire, yeah, 30-hour flight. Oh my
Right.
gracious. So
Yeah.
how long will you stay? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. How long will you stay in the
Yeah, you
UK?
got to stay a while to make that
Yeah,
30-hour flight worthwhile, right?
right.
Oh, I know. I wish we could
Yeah.
post photos in the chat too, because that'd be great. Actually, Elizabeth sent me while we were having the reading sprint. Um, this I don't. Hopefully, maybe you. I don't know if I can make you see this. Oh, it's too bright. I think
It's some copy of the Emma
it's
M.
there.
Life.
It is.
Oh, that's where
That's her
she wrote on
signed
the.
copy.
Yes,
That
to
says
Elizabeth the
the
Bard.
Bard.
She just signed it right on the cover.
No, it's on the title
Oh, it's
page.
on this page. It
Yes,
looks the
that
same,
page.
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
on. I was
that
gonna
page.
say, oh my gosh. I mean,
I
I
know.
guess she could.
Sure, I
Yeah,
know. Why
right in
not?
there.
Right?
Yeah, right. Put it in a if that happened, I'd put it on my wall, frame it.
Right? For sure. In like a shadow box or something.
Yes,
But yeah,
right.
yeah. I know. I wish we could put photos in the chat, but you can't, which is annoying. So,
Yeah.
um, oh, he's coming back from Florida. He didn't back
Oh,
fast.
oh my gracious. Oh, that's good. It says it's not supposed to start till about 2, so you'll just
Yeah.
I'm sure
Couldn't,
she's from Maine. She's probably like, it's
right?
whatever. Like, what's a
Fine.
big deal?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, drive safely. Midnight is a tough time to be going to the airport.
Yeah.
It's so
It
late and
really
dark.
is.
Yes. Be
Yeah,
very
the older I get, when I was younger, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But now it's like I can't see at night. I'm ready for bed
exactly.
at night.
Yep.
Like,
All the things. I know. Like, nope, I can't go out. That's too late. It's past my bedtime.
right, right. Sorry, honey.
Right.
You're gonna have to
Yeah,
get
get
an
an Uber
Uber.
or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. He's gonna have his seat warmer on. Oh, it's only
Yes.
20 minutes away. Oh yeah,
Oh, well,
that's
that's
not.
good.
Yeah,
In
I'm
Portland.
so rural. For me to go to the airport is like it's a big deal. It's like,
Right. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Even the airport for us, I mean, the Oakland airport is the closest airport to me where I am. And even that's just, it's just, I mean, it's only like 25 minutes, but it's just a hassle, It's like, ugh,
it is. It's a lot
airport.
of for me. It's a lot of like, what lane am I supposed to be in? What does the
Yes.
sign say? I'm like, go.
Right. Ugh,
Oh no, now I'm going the wrong way, and I'm committed to
right.
that wrong way for a half hour. It's like it's just very stressful.
I know. I know. Well, Oakland's not too bad because if you're in the wrong lane, you can literally just make a circle and come back around. But San Francisco, first of all, they have like, I think it was like right before the pandemic, like they redid all of the like entrance to SFO. And it is insane because they were making it so BART, which is our rapid transit system, could go directly into the airport. They have these like little offshoot shuttles that go to the airport. And it was a nightmare. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never coming here again.
Right.
Just like,
Right.
but it's like the San Francisco airport from us is like beyond San Francisco. So it's like even farther to
Oh,
go
it's on the other
South
side.
San Francisco. So
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm like, no, I really only want to fly out of Oakland. Like if I have to fly out of San Francisco, I have to like stay in a hotel the night before. Otherwise, forget it. So,
Right.
but yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh, she's staying. Did you see this? She's staying for 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Oh, I'm so please, can you
Oh.
pack me in your suitcase, please?
Also, Braun,
Scrunch
if
up really
I know you
small.
don't know me, but I've always wanted to go to the Hebrides, those outer
Oh,
islands.
mm-hmm.
So just a thought of, I mean, you don't have to go to all of them, but at least go and like, it just seems so
Right?
wonderful.
I know.
I mean, that's just so wonderful. Good for you.
I know. Have a fantastic time. Oh, I'm so jealous. That sounds
I know. Is
wonderful.
she on Instagram? She said she found your channel. Brian, can we follow you on Instagram and see your
Yeah.
pictures
Post
from?
pictures for us so we
Yeah,
can
then you can
live
post us
vicariously.
pictures. Right. 7 weeks flying through Baltimore. That's I was thinking when you were talking about your two airports, I'm basically equal between Philadelphia and Baltimore,
Okay.
and I'm going to choose Baltimore 10 out of 10 times because I
Right.
know that airport, I know how to get in and out of it. They've done a lot of construction, but I still feel like I can maneuver that. Philadelphia just sounds like I cannot maneuver through there.
Yes. Yes, Jacqueline. Hang on, why? That's what I was trying to remember when Braun said Wigtown, because I think they're very similar. Wigtown's like the Scottish version of Hey on Why. But yeah, it's if you haven't read Sixpence House, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. It's about a man and his family, and they move to Hey on Why, and they run a bookshop, and it's all about their experience, and it's fantastic. It's a memoir, but it's really good. So anyone who wants to know about Hey on Why, that's a great book to read. Sixpence House. I think it's Sixpence House.
I'll look it up and see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think it's Sixpence.
Yeah,
I
by
have
Beth
it, but
Hunter.
What?
The House of Sixpences. That doesn't seem right, does it?
No, it's Sixpence House. It's by Paul Collins. Lost in a Town of Books. It's the subtitle. Yeah,
there
so
it is.
the family lived actually near me, near San Francisco, and they up and moved to Hey on Why, the town of books, which boasts 1,500 inhabitants and 40 bookstores. I'm not sure how many bookstores they have currently. This was written quite a long time ago. But yeah, it's just all about their experience of, running this bookstore and what that's like. So
Great. Yeah, right. She said another book that I want. Yeah, Braun, you need to sign up for how are we gonna get Braun's Instagram when she signs up for it? Sign
Braun
up
can
for it.
email me and send me her Instagram. My
Yes,
email is
send
in
it.
my
And
channel
we'll follow
information.
you.
And we'll follow
Yeah.
you. Yes, I love that
Yeah,
this is your
good for
Stop
you.
Dreaming and Just Do It trip. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, that's sounds marvelous.
Life is short. You should take those dream trips if you can. Absolutely. Oh, the title again is called, here, I'll put it in the chat.
My library doesn't have it. Way to go, Jen.
Sorry.
Maybe I can buy it and donate it to my library and tell them that you need to put this in your...
Absolutely right. Yeah, because I think, let's see. Now, maybe it's not as old as 2003. It looks like it was published, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So old, but not that. I got it. It was one of those books I think I got on the half price books clearance cart for like $1. So I was like, book about books? Sure, that sounds good. And
yeah, you found it for $1. We're all gonna have to pay an arm and a leg to find some
I'm
used
sorry.
copy. Oh, yeah. That's it. So I've listened. I mean, we know Anne Bogle, right? You've listened to her.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
She and her husband in another podcast.
She's the modern Mrs. Darcy.
Yes, she is.
Another podcast. She and her husband signed up to run. Oh yeah, I think you can do that where you can like run it for a week, or you can like
That's cool.
do
I'll
that
look
kind
for
of
that
thing.
I'll look for that podcast episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gracious, she says you have to make the reservations
Yep.
2 years. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
I have heard of that where you can go and then
Run the
you
bookstore.
run the bookstore for. And as a bookstore employee, let me tell I have which I was for like 3 years during and after college, is hard work running a
Yeah.
bookstore or working in a bookstore is hard work and running one. But
Yeah.
I would do it. I mean, to do something like that's such a unique experience. I would totally do that. But just know it's I think you should then um run it for a week and then have like a week's vacation after where you just do nothing.
Right.
But
Just
read all the books that you probably just bought from the bookstore you were working at because that's
right.
what happens when you work at a bookstore.
Get an English cottage as an Airbnb
Exactly.
and just
Go to the Cotswolds or something and or
right.
stay in one of their what are they? The National Trust houses. You can like stay in them. Lots of them are for rent or whatever. Like Simon from Tier Books is always going and staying at National Trust houses. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like
Yeah.
these houses are like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. And here he is just renting it like it's an
Stay.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't you want a bookshop like the shop around the corner? Of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, oh, actually, it was so sad. So, I mean, I didn't work in any kind of I worked at a Walden Books, and then I worked at I worked at 2 Walden Books, and then I worked at a Barnes and Noble, which at the time, Barnes and Noble was kind of like the big bad. They were like Amazon at the time that I was working there. Like they were putting all of the little bookstores out of business, but the town I grew up in, we didn't have a lot of bookstores, so I didn't have a lot of choice. But I would love to have worked in a small little like independent bookstore. But I just looked in the Barnes and Noble I worked at isn't there anymore. Like the
Oh
building
no.
is still there. It's empty. It looks exactly like you expect a Barnes and Noble to look, but it's not there. I was gonna I thought it would be fun if I like vlogged. I was gonna drive down to my hometown because it's only like 30 minutes from where I live now. And like vlog going back to the store where I used to work, but it's not there.
It's closed. Weird.
Sad. I mean, you guys, it was like 30 years ago. So like let's be real.
Well,
But
I know they've said they want to open more stores. Like I think they think Barnes and Noble is growing, so maybe they'll
they
come
just
back in.
reopened 2 stores near here, one in the town I live in and one in the town next door to us. So yeah, but they're very different. Just like their layout and what they, the one which is in the town next to the one I live in, I really like that layout of that Barnes and Noble, but the other one, I don't know, it's a little more. I don't know if you ever saw like when we also had an Amazon bookstore, like a physical bookstore when they were
Yeah,
trying
I
that
never.
out. We were one of their guinea pigs for that. And I don't know, it doesn't have a lot of character to it necessarily. But I do love we do have a couple of good local independent bookstores. One where my mom lives, which is about 20 minutes from me, and then another in another town, also about 20 minutes away. So I go to those when I want my independent bookstore experience. But I'm glad Barnes and Noble is still around because now they're not the big baddies. Like,
Yeah.
please let us have Barnes and Noble. Otherwise, we had like zero. We had a half price books and a couple of secondhand bookstores, and we had no other places to buy new books anywhere near me. It was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miranda and her mom that stayed at National Trust
Yes.
House. That's right. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the one they stayed at in Bath was great. That was really good. If you watch her vlog about that was really great. Yes,
I don't think
working in a bookstore is fun. I will say that. It is. I mean, you have to think about like, you work, it's basically, I mean, it is retail, so you are on your feet a lot. So there is that aspect to it. And an 8-hour shift on your feet. I mean, the Barnes and Noble I worked at was probably 2,500 square. I mean, it was huge. It was a really big Barnes and Noble. So that's a lot of like floor to work on. And, you spend a lot of time shelving books up and down, like standing up, kneeling down, shifting books on, like you have to think about all those things you have to do when you work in a bookstore. It's not just sitting and reading books behind the cash register. I
Right.
never, ever did that. Ever.
Right. Right.
I would read on my breaks in the break room, but I never read when I was on the floor because you just can't. So, oh,
Yeah. So
Jacqueline says the Barnes and Noble that opened near her just has a very independent
independent.
bookstore vibe. Yeah, that's the one that's in the town next to mine is very much like that too. So, and no, Walden Books was bought
Yeah.
out a long time ago by or they merged with one of the other.
Borders.
Was it Borders or was it the other one that also started with the? There was B Dalton.
Yeah.
B
B
Dalton used to be
Dalton.
our main competitor when I worked at Walden Books. I don't know if any of you guys know B Dalton, but I'm not even sure if that was
Yeah.
just a West Coast
No, we had B
bookstore.
Daltons
Did you
here
have
in
B
the
Daltons too?
yeah, in the mall.
Um,
They were in the mall.
yes, that's where the Walden Books I worked at was. It was
Yeah.
in the
It
mall.
wasn't like its own standalone. We
Nope.
had B Daltons in the
Yep.
mall.
And while our Walden Books were the same way. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I
Yeah.
think Walden Books got either bought out or merged with somebody, and then they went under. And just Barnes and Noble and Borders, I think, took them out of business basically because
Yeah.
that standalone large bookstore with like a coffee shop attached to it, like that was just a big seller. Like the Barnes and Noble I worked at, we had double doors that opened between us and the Starbucks next door. This was before Barnes and Noble had their interior coffee shops that they'd started. So they were always being built adjacent to a Starbucks. And so you could just walk from Starbucks into the Barnes and Noble, which is fine in theory. But the problem with working at a bookstore in that situation is you spend a lot of time throwing away empty cups or half empty cups or cleaning up spilled
Yeah.
coffee, or somebody leaves the wet straw on the shelf with the books.
Gross.
Don't do that, people. Like, don't be gross.
Yeah. Don't be
Don't
gross.
act like you were raised in a cave. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
simple. We have trash cans all over the store. Like, throw your stuff away.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
so much information in here. So yeah, I knew the Waterstone CEO is now also the CEO with Barnes and Noble. And actually, I have both
Yes.
the apps because you can have I've got the Barnes and Noble app and the Waterstones app, and they're very similar. Like you can kind of see how similar that
Yes.
is. And then
So I
Susan,
think the Barnes and Noble that's here in my town was opened right prior to him coming on board, because the one that opened in the town over was after this, and you can definitely tell the difference. So
yeah.
Everyone must experience the Barnes and Noble at Inner Harbors. All right, putting that on my
Good to know.
Baltimore to-do list.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm equidistant between Philly and Baltimore, so maybe I should do a vlog and go down to Baltimore to the Inner Harbor
Yes.
Barnes and Noble and check it out because I'm always
Please
jealous
do.
of the New York City one because there's a Barnes and Noble in New York that's apparently huge. But Susan, maybe I need to go down to the one in Mary Ann says she lives right near there. So that would be tempting if I lived near there.
Right.
That's
Yeah, I know. The Borders we had near us is now like a golf smith or something like that. It's like a golfing store, because the floor plan of this, like the footprint of the store is so huge. Like we had a fantastic Borders. I used to buy so many books there.
wow. So sorry, she says it's the old power plant. So Susan, do you remember, I guess if you lived there, didn't the power plant used to be a club? Like a club that you would go to? Wasn't there a power plant club in Baltimore? So anyway, 5 or 6 stories.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Books a Million. Yeah. I mean,
Books a
Million,
Million.
they seem to be doing okay, right? They're getting like signed copies and new, I don't know, having events and things. Yes. So Susan, I also went there. Wouldn't it be weird if a long time ago we were both in there at the same time and never knew that like at this moment in life we would be on a book live video talking about books, but we were like clubbing. So funny. I'm gonna tell my husband because my husband did too. I mean, he was from Maryland.
Right.
I was one of those Virginians false people.
I'm
So
gonna
yeah,
come.
there you
Okay,
go.
so Elizabeth and Melissa and our friend Susan, who's a part of my Gilded Age Buddy Read group, we want to come to the East Coast and do like a Gilded Age literary tour. So we're gonna come and then we're gonna go to Baltimore too, because we're already there.
Right.
Then we're gonna do all the things.
Well, then you're gonna have to tell me, because I'm
Yes,
like I said, I'm
absolutely. Absolutely. Jacqueline said she's gonna bring her sleeping bag, making an overnight trip to
Yeah.
the bookstore.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Oh wow.
5 or
Susan says she
6
grew up in
floors.
Baltimore, and the original pipes in the power plant are all polished and gorgeous.
Oh my gracious.
That's
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna need
so
to
that's
look
what I'm gonna
up
do.
pictures of this
I'm
Barnes
gonna
and
do a
Noble.
birthday. I'm gonna do a birthday trip. Tell my husband that way
Yes.
he can drive. We'll go to Baltimore. We'll go and get, in Maryland, it's crabs, right? Like that's like the
Oh,
thing.
yes.
Jen, have you ever had like good crabs? Like,
Oh yeah, because I mean I'm here in San Francisco. We have crab here in
well,
San Francisco.
they're not the same as Maryland.
I know they're not
They will tell
Maryland
you that.
crabs, but
It's a whole, so yeah, we'll make a whole thing, and I'll go there.
yeah.
Susan
And then
says
I'm going to send you a picture of the empty storefront that I used to work at as a sad
okay, great.
comparison to the one you just went to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I know Elizabeth's up in Oregon. I want to go to Powell's.
Powell's is amazing.
That's like I'm a sucker. Anybody who has a video of being in Powell's just perusing and talking about books, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this and just pretend that I'm there.
I know. I haven't been there since college or right after college. I can't remember now. No, it wasn't. Actually, I take that back. I think I was there in my late 20s on a trip to Portland. We went to Powell's, but yeah, it's amazing. Oh yeah, I need to go back.
So Susan, she says, when were you clubbing?
There are no crabs like Maryland crabs.
Like, I don't know. After 1995, definitely. And then before, it would be between 95 and like 2002. Somewhere in there. Probably close to the late 90s. Was probably when I was there. Yeah. Maryland crabs are it.
All right, yes. I'm coming. I'm putting Maryland crabs and the Barnes and Noble that used to be the power plant place.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Morgan Long posts. She lives in Portland and she posts at Powell's Books.
I watch her too.
Yeah,
she's so young. I mean, she's when I watch her and listen to her, I love it. It's beautiful, but I just think she's so young. It's like she's just young. I mean, and I think there's probably there's a lot of YouTubers that are a lot younger than her, but she's just very innocent and naive kind. You know what I mean? She just has that really wholesome,
like that sort of sweetness about her.
Yeah,
that comes with youth.
Yes, that's right. Right.
Oh, Jacqueline says she thinks she's her daughter's age. So yeah, I think she's in her. Well, I feel like she's getting close to 30 now. I think she's in her late 20s.
Yeah, I do
watched a video of hers the other day.
Oh yeah, she is getting closer to her 30s.
I think she's getting closer to 30 now. So
yeah,
but she's been YouTubing forever. It feels like.
And her boyfriend or partner or whatever he is.
Right.
Yeah, the Strand in New York City. Susan thinks I'm a baby because I said I was clubbing in the late 90s.
Oh.
Doesn't make me feel like a baby.
I know, right? Like, yeah.
And now this is forever on YouTube. My kids are gonna watch it years from now and be like, Mom was clubbing in the 90s.
Right. All right, tell me, what was Desi's channel's name again? Desi, what was it, Rebecca?
Darling Desi.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up right now and put it in my YouTube.
She does, again, she's started out doing a lot of booktube.
Okay.
And then now, I mean, I will say cinematically, she's a full-time YouTuber. Her husband helps her. And I love her cuts and how she builds a story with her video and
she has 376,000 followers.
So I was following her when she had, I don't know, single, below 10,000. And then she just blew up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess that can
yeah.
happen.
Yep. Fells
I have to
Point.
go to Fells Point. Is that in Maryland?
Yes. It's in Baltimore.
In
Yes.
Baltimore, go to the bar. The
Yeah.
horse you came in on, that's where Edgar Allan Poe uses. That sounds amazing. Yes.
Oh,
I
wow. His
okay,
ghost is
definitely
in
need to
there. I
go there
didn't know that.
too.
Oh, she said she was early to mid 1980s. Yeah, me nor my husband. I'm older than my husband, so my husband was born in 1980.
Oh my gosh. Susan said, Darling Desi's getting ready to move to Europe. Her husband quit his job to work for her.
Yeah.
Well, that must be nice. My
Yeah,
husband would
he
love
did.
that if he could quit his job to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
She's been saying she's gonna move for a while. I think they ended up in a snafu with the work visa
Oh, that's what
because
Jacqueline
like
said.
she can't say that she doesn't have a company that's gonna
Right.
pay her to be there, and so she can't say like I'm on a work visa. But
Uh-huh.
I think they hired a lawyer and they're like trying to do like a work permit or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
she mentioned it like a year ago, but
Oh, so maybe it's tied up in legal
yeah,
shenanigans right now. Yeah.
trying to go there. But yeah.
I'm sure that would be challenging. Oh, her sister has a channel too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Oh.
think she does.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't watch her sisters as much as hers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Well,
Susan said her son was born in 86.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, if I'd had a son born in 86, that would have been a scandal.
Yeah.
So I would have been 13.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's living in Rhode Island. She's got Lyme disease, I think, from ticks.
Oh.
So one of the reasons she wants to go to Europe is because of those issues.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, somebody's writing notes on the napkin about books to read. Oh, and YouTube channels.
Yes, I know.
I can't remember, Susan, what her channel is, but I think they did a
Did you like a collab
collaborative
video?
Yeah, so if you look around the holiday season, or maybe it was last fall, one of the videos, her sister's in it. I'm sure the channel is
I'm sure
linked.
she's linked her sister's channel.
Yeah.
If they've been in videos together. So
Yeah.
have to do some deep diving into Darling Desi.
Yes.
So
and
Susan,
we all need to
you're
go
not old,
spam.
you're young at heart.
Right.
Age is but a number, right?
Right.
So
Right.
well, now that we've digressed into completely not talking about
Not related.
I know. Well, I think maybe we'll wrap it up. Just because I think my dinner's here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and for me, it's past my bedtime.
Right? Yes. Yes, Jacqueline. Yes, I am very much ready for dinner.
Yes.
That's okay. No, this was so fun. Oh, Susan.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Young at heart, right? Okay, so volume 4 next month. It's hard to see this red on here, but yeah, this is volume 4 for next month. So excited. Can't wait to see what Emma and her boys are up to next, as well as Agnes and her affair with the Duke of Islington.
Right. I hope Beth Brower hears
on the internet about
gets wind of this. We need to start talking about it so that Beth I'm going to join her Substack and tell her. Listen.
Right? Everybody start sharing.
Agnes
is having an affair with the Duke of Islington. Pass it on.
Right. Right. I'll put it up on that AO3. There's a website that you can put fanfic for free that you've written on AO3, and I'll write something and put it up on AO3 and start telling people about it.
Absolutely. I'm sure, I mean, isn't that any author's dream, is to have somebody else write fanfic about their series? I mean,
right. As long as you're clear about, and again, you're not trying to like profit off of it.
I mean, isn't that how 50 Shades of Grey came to be?
Yes.
I mean, let's be real, right? Twilight.
Yeah. Right.
Sexy Twilight spinoff.
Right.
So, well, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with Rebecca and I and chatting all things Emma M. Lyon and books and Barnes and Nobles and
right. Yeah, that was
Maryland crabs today.
Right.
We ran the whole gamut. So
yes.
Yes. And Braun, definitely, you need to start an Instagram and then email me your Instagram account so I can share it with everyone and we can follow your 7-week journey to England, because
Yes.
we all want to live vicariously through you. Oh my gosh.
50.
Okay, we're going to end on this. 50 Shades of Archibald.
Oh my gracious. Oh no. Oh no.
And on that note,
Okay.
good night, everyone.
Night.
Thank you all so
everybody.
much
So
for being
fun.
here. I'll
Yep.
see you next
Thanks,
month
Jen. Yep.
or in the
All right.
Discord. Bye.
Bye.